Gojo, the undefeated opponent, the man who single-handedly took the world by storm. I've seen many YouTubers tackle this very subject, Gojo versus someone from Undertale, but this time, I'll have to bring more things to the table. I will not just put Gojo against one character in this video, but 6. So without any further ado, let's lower the curtains and start the show to see if he'd actually win. Now you're probably wondering who I'm actually putting against Gojo, and I'll supply the answers. Opening the show with Battle 1, we'll see Gojo versus Undyne. Following after will be Gojo versus Papyrus, Sans, Chara, and Frisk. And a surprise character at the end. Stay tuned. But before we even think of hopping into the battles, we first need to understand Gojo's attacks and how he uses them. First, and probably the most hard ability to counteract, Gojo's Infinity. This is a power that puts a barrier of some sort around Gojo at all times. It counteracts anything trying to do harm to Gojo from the outside. Though it is based on time and how it flows, so if time moves, it stays. This is an annoying attack for our Undertale characters, because most of them are only capable of attacking from the outside world. The one thing is Infinity, that you're only able to attack it if, number 1, you attack the space rather than his body. Number 2, you spawn attack within the perimeters of the Infinity. There are also his domain expansion. When inside it, you will be fed to millions of information, which will cause your mind to overload and your body to paralyze, leaving you completely vulnerable. The only way our Undertale characters can escape this domain is to via teleport. When Gojo uses his domain, there's a 0.2 seconds of teleport time a distance away, meaning if it's ultra timed correctly, they could escape. And with that, it is now time to move on to our first battle, Gojo versus Undyne. Keep in mind that in this situation, the two fighters are trying to kill each other. First of all, let's discuss what Undyne can do. Undyne is known for her immense physical strength, agility, and combat skill, allowing her to perform rapid, powerful attacks. Unlike other Undertale characters, Undyne's willpower and determination keeps her fighting in most difficult situations, keeping her alive even when deathly injured. But Undyne still has plenty of weaknesses in this battle. Let's discuss them to see how much it'll affect the battle. Undyne relies on physical combat and does not have the ability to affect the metaphysical and conceptual world, making her vulnerable to Gojo's vast abilities, meaning she is completely incapable of breaking Gojo's Infinity. While strong, Undyne is still susceptible to fatal blows, especially from someone like Gojo. With overwhelming destructive power, Undyne will most likely be blown to little fishy bits, which conclusively means Gojo would 101% fry Undyne on a griddle. Entering the next stage is the Great Papyrus. He'll be facing Satori Gojo next. So first, let's go over the advantages what Paps has. Paps can spawn bones inside of Gojo's Infinity, bypassing his defense and allowing him to deal damage. But this is where things get bad. First of all, unlike Undyne, he can spawn bones inside of Gojo's Infinity, but that is all. As soon as Gojo flies or something, Papyrus unfortunately stands no chance. And with that, I believe the Great Papyrus falls, leaving Gojo taking the crown for that round. Sans' turn. So Sans only has 1 HP, meaning 1 attack from Gojo, and he is dust. But here's where things are a little bit different. Sans is extremely good at dodging, and he can also teleport. But there is one thing he can do that anyone else can do too, and it's press that like and subscribe button to see more content. Now let's keep a note that Sans only dodged 23 of Frisk's attacks before he got hit. It's not looking so good for Sans. Sadly, I believe if Gojo were not to use a single blast, it's not like Gojo throws 1 punch and that's all. He probably throws a whole lot of punches, meaning Sans is wearing down fast, getting pretty tired fast, and that's where I think it ends. Meaning all those efforts were once bone dry. Gojo takes the crown once again. Next is Chara. Now, while Chara is kind of a ghost, we'll just say they are hittable. So let me tell you something. We don't actually need to go that far into detail, but because Chara has the ability to attack the space of Gojo, which would not get affected by Infinity, Chara simply wins by deleting Gojo and the universe around him. Poor Gojo. In this scenario, he did not stand a chance. After Chara is Frisk. Now let's set things straight. Frisk has no attacks that can enter the infinity. On top of that, let's say they use their reset ability over and over again. They gain nothing. No matter how much they use it, they can't get any attacks that would penetrate the infinity, already sealing the deal for Frisk. Gojo takes the crown once again. But it's not over. It's not over yet. Remember at the beginning when I mentioned where there will be a special character at the end? Yep, it's time. And now, last but definitely not least, Gojo versus Insense. Now, Insense is very special because I believe he is resistant to Gojo's domain expansion. That domain is supposed to overload people with info, paralyzing them, but you can't get overloaded with info if you already know everything in the universe. Meaning Insense is not affected at all because, he's like God, so he knows everything. On top of that, he could use his brush to create anything. He could spawn things inside of the infinity or even draw up his previous fights. He could also completely change the environment in his favor with his brush. And with that, I believe this battle would go for something like this. Insense and Gojo fight. Of course, Gojo may land hits to no avail. He uses this domain, no effect. Meanwhile, Insense draws up all of his previous fights, Undyne, Papyrus, Sans, Chara, and Frisk. The last stroke sealed the deal. Unlike Sans, when he spawns Gastro Blasts inside the infinity, it does way more damage. And with that, I believe Insense wins the fight. Probably the coolest one yet, yeah?